of the East Long Meadow Public Library is called to order, and this is Wednesday, October 19th, 2016, and it's, by that clock, 6:05, and we need to take attendance, and in the minutes, shall we take attendance?
Charlie Gray.
Sharon Bellanoit.
Diane Tiago.
David Boucher.
Cindy McNaught.
Art McGuire. Minutes of the September 14th meeting, which we'll need a vote to accept.
David, good job on the minutes. I thank you again for sending them
Okay.
early. The only thing I would, in the, under new business,
Yeah.
item 3, the formation of a three-person committee for first interviews,
Yeah.
rather than 2 3-person committees. So I would strike the word 2.
Oh, okay.
Where are you?
Actually,
Is that
Yeah,
right?
it's been,
it's been,
It's been fixed?
yeah.
Oh, was I reading my
you
copy?
were reading
Oh,
the
good.
first.
So you already caught it, that's
Yeah.
great.
Can I see what that is? Is this it?
I read from the original submitted one, it's fine.
Well, I have a comment. It did not mention at all the formation of the screening committee, did it? You know, I watched the film.
Information,
And-
screen and interview is.
You proposed it
Yeah.
and mentioned 3 people. Is that here? And I
It's
just-
under one, maybe under new business.
Oh,
okay.
I see, it's been changed.
Yeah, I also watched the, meeting
Yeah.
and, just kind of updated it a little bit.
Well, this is fine. Formation of committee to
Screen
screen
and interview is
and
Charles
interview.
Gray.
Yeah, this is a
Diane
preliminary
Tiago.
screening interview, that's
Yeah.
fine,
No, it gives 3 trustees.
that's right.
The chair, and you were the chair at that time,
Yes, sir.
become a member, and so I am not a member, and I would like to apologize for having shown up
Oh,
and
it
be a
was an
4th
open meeting.
member.
Okay.
No, I was the 4th member on
Oh,
that the screening committee, and I should not have attended, so I don't plan to go back. But with this, with Charlie proposing it, he is the 3rd member rather than myself. Does that make sense? Because otherwise, as the chair, if I had proposed it, I'd be the 4th member, which is what is not recommended by the Mass Library people. So I
Makes
think
sense
this
to
is
me,
a-
Art.
So it's a way out of the problem. But as I want to discuss later, that has its own complications, and I'll mention that in the course of the meeting. But do I hear a move to approve?
I move we approve the meeting minutes for September 14th, 2016, as submitted. We move to approve them as submitted.
Second,
I'll second it.
further thoughts and comments? No, it's approved. I guess I should say, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Next on the guest opportunity, I don't see any guests. Director's report.
Well, you all had an opportunity, I think, to read. I'm sorry, Arthur, I'll check to make sure. I don't know why you didn't get yours, but,
I don't know, I will,
yeah.
maybe I don't think I
don't know
overlooked
if
it.
any of you have had a chance to read the report yet, or?
I did.
That'll be
I
one.
did, I got
I
them,
did.
I got them, it looked good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was all excited about those coat racks.
There's one left,
Well,
No,
they
it
haven't
isn't.
moved yet.
Two behind each other.
2 left.
No, DPW does have a work order to bring them over to the Council on Aging.
That's great. So
Hopefully soon.
the Council on Aging accepted them willingly or happily accepted
Happily.
them. That's
Yep,
great.
Yep, so that worked out
Oh, we'll
great.
put them to good use.
Yep. And I'm very happy about our swap senior that we're gonna get.
Oh, yeah, that
That'll
was
be great.
good.
Yep. So, And I don't know if you have any other questions about what's the rest of the news? Oh, and, you know, Christy Drapo.
Right.
She is the woman who's at the desk now. She has blonde hair.
Yeah, she seemed
She's
very
very,
nice.
very nice.
She seemed very nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Is she local or?
She lives in Wilbraham. She previously worked at the Chicopee Public Library,
Mhm.
and so coming here has been a nice,
She fit in right
fit right
away.
in, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Very
So
nice.
she's
Good.
what Kathy was.
Yeah, well,
Well, no, I
sorry,
mean,
Christy, but.
no, no, I
Yeah,
mean,
you should-
that's
her
the position.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, it could be Kathy.
I know, I know.
Comments?
So, oh, okay, no, I don't wanna jump ahead.
Could you comment on the sharing of the library space with the committees in town due
Sure.
to the town hall renovations that are
Yeah.
ongoing?
In a couple of weeks, they're gonna start, over at the town hall where the selectmen's, meeting room was. That's gonna be made into a larger office for, I think, the town manager. It's gonna be an office for an HR department. That's where that's
Oh.
gonna go. Possibly a financial manager kind of position. I'm not sure if I got that straight. So there's a lot of construction going on over there, and that meeting space is now
Null and
gone.
void.
So, the town council and the, town manager have requested that we donate some space here for 2 boards. There are other boards that meet regularly at the Council on Aging, you know, pretty much, I think the idea is that we all have to work
Share.
together and share our space.
Good going.
Mhm.
So the planning board
The planning board and the conservation
and the
commission.
conservation commission.
Mhm. So,
Great.
I have a calendar already for the whole year, next year. I have the trustee meetings all booked, and there's no conflict.
Yeah.
A couple of the months, the trustee meeting might fall a little later in the month, or if there was ever a conflict, we always have the historical room
I thought that was a great
available.
note in there.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought that was would be a good use of that space as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, and they're fine with us using that room. It's a nice room.
It is a nice
So
room.
we have options.
Yeah.
So.
Good. Okay, we want to defer, we don't have to approve the financial report anymore. It's information
No,
only
it's
at
just
this point.
information only.
But we probably should approve the director's report. Is that-
Yeah, no, we'll bring that to a vote if there's nothing.
I move we
The
accept.
finances really are not,
I
but
just
they're on the
was-
list here, and we might
Yep.
want to look at them. Does anybody have any
Some
comments
of
about
the
them?
trustees have indicated to me that they would still like to see them, the
Absolutely.
financials, and I think that's a great idea. And, just, they look a little bit different because we
Yeah.
are using,
Different.
Munis. Carol is using Munis more and more, and, to print out these other reports here, it still isn't coming out in quite the clear format that we want, and we have not had time to ask the town accountant to sit down with us, and she's been out straight, so, this is just to give you an idea of where these funds are. I think we're in pretty good shape, and, I don't see any problem with anything.
Has it been a challenge with the changeover? Because the financial system's changing a bit,
No,
from what I
no, it
understand.
has not affected us. I mean, it's still Munis, it's still, in fact, if anything, it's gotten better. I mean, I think.
More efficient?
We've worked with Sarah Menard and, to make it more efficient and to make our reports, show us at the end of the year what we want to see.
It'll be clearer.
And it'll be easier for Carol to, do the year-end,
Oh.
I can't remember what the word is, but she has to have everything come out even,
I know.
and so
It's,
the way,
yeah,
what is that word?
Reconciliation.
Reconciliation.
It's always fun to do
Yeah.
the year-end reconciliation.
Right.
Yeah, especially since it isn't New Year's, it's really the fiscal year.
Yeah, so the way
Uh,
it's set up now, Carol is gonna be in much better shape for the next, so, and, So we've had some help from Sarah Menard, which we really appreciate, and I think we're in good shape.
Very good.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve the director's report. And how is it dated October 19th, 2016 as submitted?
Second,
I'll second it.
comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Done. New business. Library Director Search Committee. I had asked for this, and also, I think Diane asked for it as well, or did you? Maybe not.
No.
No.
I actually
but-
put Diane's name down because she's the, you know, in fact, I should have put your name.
That's all
You're
right.
in trouble.
No fingerprints, that's good. I like that.
I think
No
it's,
fingerprints. I like that too, John.
I think it's wise that this committee hear how things are going.
Absolutely.
Did you want to talk first? Diane and I can certainly bring you up to date,
Yeah,
if you'd like that. Is that your desire?
Yeah, I guess a mixture of both. My thoughts were this, it's a three-person committee, and I talked to the lawyer about some of those rules, although I did put in a second call for some topics that need to be mentioned tonight. If you have a four-person committee, subcommittee, it's not considered a good idea by the mass people. But a three-person committee has a quorum with two people. So if two people are talking about the committee and have not reserved a 48 hours notice, you're already illegal. And it's kind of crazy, but you know, it's like physics of small particles. The laws change as they get smaller and smaller, and it gets very awkward. And that not only includes face-to-face meetings, but it also includes emails and phone calls and the like. And so if somebody may want to challenge what's being done, and that's been a systematic problem, just as having four people at the meeting, having two people talking in a three-person committee has the same threat. We don't know, none of these things have really come to pass. And Sharon and I were talking, our intent, both for doing it right and following the law exactly. Our efforts are at full bore. But I want to be sure you people know about it with three people on the committee. The second thing I want to mention does not apply immediately to the committee, but to the work and the visit of a six-member board. I think 5 will be there. But again, this is quoting my attorney, James Donahue, or the town attorney, that in his understanding, a 6-member board, when they're hiring, cannot go on executive session
Right.
for hiring. You all understand that?
Yeah.
That's what I understood,
Yeah.
but Sharon didn't understand that earlier.
The full board, if you're interviewing, it has to be an open meeting to the
Yes.
public. The only time that you can do interviews in an executive session, it cannot be the full board. It would have to be that screening committee
You're right.
that does the
that's-
that does the interviews in executive session.
And that's why we have the screening committee.
Right.
No.
I may not be, it may be helpful. I have here the Massachusetts Public Library Trustees Handbook, published by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners. And on page 28 and 29, it talks about boards can call closed executive session meetings to handle unusual situations or problems such as those listed below. And there are a number of situations listed. One of them is, and this is the one that we might consider using if we feel the need. One of the situation is to consider or interview applicants for employment or appointment by a preliminary screening committee if the chair declares that an open meeting will have a detrimental effect in obtaining qualified applicants. And that is, in fact, in the handbook. So that I think was what is where we were heading. if that's not correct, then we probably should go back and think about it a little bit more.
That's what we're doing, that's what we're
Yeah.
doing now.
Yes.
Okay.
But
So
I'm
this is
talking
a-
about a subsequent hearing
Oh, I see, for the final interview?
for the final interviews,
thank
because
you.
the hope is to have that
I misunderstood.
public.
Yes.
But then for you people to go to executive committee to discuss that. Isn't that the understanding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's in question. Your privilege of going into executive session as a full board,
Oh, full board.
using, with hiring,
I see.
the topic, according to my lawyer, is not permitted. Now, I'm gonna check further with my lawyer, and we may get other opinions if we need to do it that way, because it's unlikely that Ms. Menard, newcomer, would know about that particular feature, but she may. But we don't want to surprise her later. And
I think we can, one of the other situations, and I've seen executive sessions used for things like this, to conduct a strategy session in preparation for negotiations for non-union personnel, or contract negotiations with non-union personnel, where we're hiring a non-union personnel. And this would be a strategy session for negotiating a contract with the person we're going to hire.
now, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, however, at this point in the game, we are just making a recommendation to the.
I'm replying to Art's question about the final interviews,
Yeah, I'm
not
talking.
the screening part.
No, but
But-
even though the full board, once we do the final interview, or for us, with the finalists, then it was the board's to present to the acting town manager as to who,
Oh, I
the
see what you're,
board-
yes, that's what we're gonna do.
yeah,
Well, that's our plan, but she
Right.
wants to be there.
Right. She
And
wants to be
so-
at the final,
Yeah, she wants to be there for the
finalist
final,
meetings.
yes,
which is when we discuss that with, and then present it to her.
yeah.
And my argument that maybe that arrangement can't be done in executive session.
Let us know,
Right.
keep us posted.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we need to find out.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I
If we
know
don't
the
like-
interviews are open, in open meeting,
Yes, the
Yeah.
interviews are,
yeah,
but I think people may want to make comments
yes,
in private about that before
Correct.
it's presented to her.
yeah. Yeah.
And with her present and the rights to do that in question, I think that needs to be resolved in advance,
Mhm.
so that we don't surprise her and surprise ourselves
Right.
with what you were concerned with before, which
Yes.
is an unexpected challenge by some person who's been left out
Yeah, yeah,
or received a notice saying they're not welcome.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, my guess, and I think it's great you're looking into it, make sure we're having things kosher. With the interviews, for the finalists being open to the public, I guess anybody could come and sit and listen to be present during the interview of the finalists, but they're an audience, they don't get to participate, that's all.
Unless the chair calls on, yeah.
No.
But what I don't want to have happen is the 6 or 5 people gather with Menard
Right,
and think they're going to be in private and discover later they shouldn't have been.
right,
Yeah, yeah.
That's my
Okay.
point.
We get,
Perfect.
we get,
Yeah, we'll work on that.
perfect.
The other thing that I have to question before you give your reports is who's checking the references and when?
Well, what we did the last time, as I remember, was,
You know, I did a lot of calling, yeah.
yeah, well, what happened was the last time we did this, we waited till we got who we thought were going to be the finalists, and then we kind of shared who was going to call which candidates. And I think, so that it didn't fall on one person. So in the last time, we had 3 individuals as finalists, and that's when we called the references. and I had one of the finalists. David had
Right.
the other of the finalists, and Arthur, you had
That's
the
not
other
the way it
one.
was divided. It was the first reference for each one. I called for 3 separate people.
Right.
And others called for 3 separate.
Right.
The
Oh,
division
I'm
was
sorry.
along the
You're
applicants.
right. You're right. You're right.
You're
You're right.
Yeah.
And I was, I was first, second, or third in each one, and each had
Right,
3
right, right.
references.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that worked out good, didn't it, Diane?
I thought it
I
worked
thought
out
it did
great.
too.
Good.
But we didn't record very specifically what it is. And I'm kind of working to be sure there's no effective challenges. We need to get that in paper before the last interview, right? We don't want Ms. Menard sitting here and we giving her 3 without knowing what our references
Oh.
checked out with.
I believe that's what we did, was check the references before we did the
Yes, you-
final.
I think you
Okay.
did.
We did
I
that.
just want to be sure that's arranged because she wants to take care of it quickly. As soon as you have 3,
Mm-hmm.
then we're going to
know.
have to move very quickly on that.
Right, sure.
Okay.
And have it recorded so that they can have evidence that we did in fact call,
Mm. The
so that any challenger would meet those references.
That makes sense, Art.
yeah.
We'll do it.
Okay, the last thing I want to mention is, although I'm not a member of the 3-person board, I would like to do as you did before, usher the individual
That would
around
be awesome.
after, so that I
I
can,
was hoping somebody could do
I
that.
would like to do
That
that.
would be awesome, Art.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm done.
No, that's
You
great.
get, you
Who better, huh? Who better?
you get a much better insight that way. I found.
Who better?
I will work on that.
You will too.
Well, I guess, looking at it, we did have 11 applicants that applied. And everybody, we got together at a meeting and obtained all 11 applications. And then we went home to read them over and get our individual ideas as to, how to whittle down the 11 to who we thought was the best of the best. So we had excellent candidates, and we did kind of have the check-off lists, like things to just kind of look for, make sure they have a list that, and then a little something that came from, as recommended by the director search process, like watch for this, like red flag kind of things while you're reviewing and so forth. And then we came back and we narrowed it down to 4 candidates for the preliminary interviews.
And I must say, I think it was a very smooth process, and we came to a consensus quite quickly,
Yeah,
I thought.
I did too.
I thought the process worked well.
Mm-hmm.
Now the hard work begins.
Yeah.
I know.
Without getting into any specifics, Sharon has worked very hard to get all of the interviews scheduled for next week, which I know is important to you, Art, and that's important to us too, obviously. And we did have to make a minor adjustment, mid-course adjustment, but basically everyone's going to be, to the extent possible, interviewed at the same time, under the same criteria. And so that will happen, and then we'll be prepared to report back. And obviously the full board, all of the trustees will make the final recommendation to the town manager. And if we have final interviews, and I expect that we will, or then the town manager will participate in the interviews with us, with the full board. Anything else?
No, I think that's where we are
Mhm.
at this point in time.
Yeah.
Are there lists of questions to be drawn up for the
Well,
manager, or is she gonna?
I've got mine, and
I'm so
I've got
sorry.
mine, and Jenny,
You have
Kinder,
Jenny's.
I have Jenny's too.
Yeah, what happened was, after our meeting, she knew she was going to be leaving for vacation, so she did give me
I
that.
promise I will get mine to you.
Okay,
And so am I.
you know,
Mhm.
so, so that,
There are lists.
We-
Oh,
I think-
we'll be ready.
Trying
yeah.
to decide what our question should
Yeah, we did this last time.
be. Yes.
We had the same question for each.
Anything, David, do you have anything that comes to mind? You've been through this.
No,
Yeah.
no, I'm trying, I think you're doing, you're going along, and
Pretty straightforward.
that's good.
All right. I guess that's it then, Diane, huh?
yeah,
Okay.
that,
Unless, you got anything else, Ryan?
There is some old business.
I mean about our,
Oh.
the
You know,
directorship.
I made some notes, so I can't find the damn notes.
Okay, we'll come back to that.
I knew it would happen.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, we did mention upstairs, there's many restraints on our activities.
Yeah,
There's
I
the
guess.
lawyer and his interpretations. There's Robert's rules. There's the open meeting law. There's the Massachusetts boards with their suggestions. And it makes it very complicated for small groups.
mm,
And, you know, it's hard to do it without wondering whether you're in a challenging area. We need to check on the open meeting law. And the references were done, and I wanted to be sure that Charlie was identified as the chair of that decision of 3 people, rather than me, and therefore I would be the 4th. If you want to
Yeah.
talk among yourselves, put me down as a 4th, and suddenly your ability to talk to each other
It's diminished.
grows, and is not punishable, and I don't have to come to those meetings. Would you prefer that? Are you talking to each other about, you 3 talking to each other about the clients?
Only as to schedules.
no,
We
Only
have-
during-
no, we have.
appointments.
no,
Okay.
because that wouldn't be right,
No,
Okay,
We
fine.
haven't at
So-
all.
So fine, you're a group of 3.
yeah, no.
All right. I'm ready to move on. Is there anything else? No?
no.
Old business, library friends news.
I don't know if you, I hope I sent this out to everybody, or everybody got one. But, this is, the October,
Thank you.
what it covered, and the reason why I just
Oh, look at
thought
that.
it was so important.
Do you have another one?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I make sure.
Thank you.
Okay. The Friends met on Monday, October 3rd. Their meetings are usually the first Monday of the month, unless there's a holiday that falls on it. This week is the National Friends of the Library Week. And the intentions of the group was to place in various places throughout the library, like items that the Friends purchased in order to supplement this library and make it welcoming to people of all ages. And so if you see little pink cards throughout as you're walking around the library, it's just to let members know as well as patrons know. And this is where the money goes. The money goes right back into the library. And I listed the different items, and some pretty big ones too,
Yeah.
that the Friends paid for. I give you 14 there, but the first one was the new flooring in the community room over there. The Friends paid for that. And the surveillance video camera for the north entrance. There was a
Pretty
need.
Big ticket items.
Yeah, they took care of that. There's a bulletin board in the vestibule in the north entrance as well. That we had a bulletin board over here, but there's people coming in
Right.
from here, so it was felt that it would be good to have a bulletin board in there too. I'm not gonna go all the way down the list here, but I just put 14 items down there, just so you can see yourselves, because I think sometimes we forget. And forget, because some of these are over a few years.
And I think it's good that the community knows just where, when they support Friends activities,
Yep.
where that money is
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, well, that's,
And that it all comes back
yeah.
to help the community.
Yep.
Yep.
Whether it's membership dues or whether it's making a donation or what, it stays right here.
Mhm.
So,
100%.
yep.
Mhm.
So it's here to help the library so we can continue on with all our different programs and to help out in any way we can. Believe it or not, number 12, flags, the flagpoles in here.
Mhm.
You know, it was just felt that it was the right thing to have here.
Yeah,
Let's
because other groups have used them, you know,
Yeah.
in the, you know,
I think
for
that's
different
good.
reasons. Yeah, absolutely.
This is America.
This is America.
What time is the debate?
Oh, yeah.
Also,
Right.
also, what Sharon shared with the Friends was that, thanks to the Friends, it has helped when they're doing the ARIS report.
Well, the financial report.
Yeah, the financial
Yeah.
report, so that we make what the
Our
qualifications.
Materials expenditure.
Yeah, so, just to let you know, she explained about the criteria and the consequences if we're not an accredited library, what impact it would have. And I don't think people realize that, and I think
No,
that was
I-
news to the people that
Real,
are
yeah.
so supportive of the library.
Mhm.
The consequences of not being an accredited library. And anyways, she thanked everybody very much, but we thank everybody who even helps, wants to try for a raffle out there too. The programs that the Friends provided from July 1st of 2015 to June 30th, 2016, for the programs and the gifts for the year.
And subscriptions and licenses and
Yeah.
for this one year, it was, you know,
$11,794.
they paid
Wow.
for almost 100% of the programming this year.
Yeah.
They're not gonna do that this year, you know,
Every
this year. But last year, and it was a big help. And
Oh.
it certainly,
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah. So they added another museum pass, and it's for the Vintage Radio Communications Museum in Connecticut. And my understanding is that the pass allows Friends free admission to adults and to children.
Oh,
And we had another individual who joined the board. Her name is Annette King. So it's nice to have fresh faces and
it is.
new ideas. And at this point in time, there's 386 members, and their next meeting is Monday, November 7th.
So 386 into 11,000 is about $30 apiece. That's the contribution roughly per person. Good.
But then they run fundraisers and whatnot that really, really help.
Yeah.
Good.
Really.
I had one,
Really good news.
Yeah.
one item for the good of the order, since we're
Okay,
under,
I have another item good for the order. Go ahead.
under other business. I'm not sure if anyone saw the weekend edition of the Wall Street Journal.
No,
I was watching football and reading it, but I noticed an article on the last page of the off-duty section called "The Cheapest Way to Score E-Books and More."
well,
And the question was as follows, and this is an ongoing column in the journal. Here's the question: I spend a fortune on e-books each month. And that's on top of subscriptions to Netflix and HBO Go, Audible for audiobooks, and Texture for magazines. How can I trim my digital media budget? And the answer, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, although it's not a real long article, it starts off, have you browsed your local library's website lately? In addition to ebooks, chances are you can also borrow audiobooks, digitize magazines and movies, and enjoy them on your smartphone or tablet for weeks at a time. But the key word is your local library. And this is a great ad. And I asked Sharon how she felt about this question. And could you say a couple of words about that, Sharon?
Yeah, we have had signs up that say, stop buying ebooks. Get ebooks for free.
We have ebooks, right?
We have ebooks.
Oh, yeah.
We got
The Friends
ebooks.
helped with the lending program for, right? The Friends helped contribute towards
We're talking about like the Overdrive digital catalog.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Which
So,
we pay
so
for.
okay.
you've been building up the ebook,
Well, our network does.
The
At this
or the
point,
network, that's
The
it.
network does.
That's good. Yeah.
You can,
We
each
own
library
some.
can contribute, and we're gonna be doing that in the future. Some libraries do, but we haven't started doing that yet. But, each library is assessed a certain amount each year, and it all goes into a big pool, and the network is doing the bulk of the buying. And, so we have, this is a little statistic that CW Mars put out for the ARIS reports for all the libraries for 2016 is in our catalog. There's 45,753 ebooks, 9,775 audiobooks, and 997
Wow.
videos. Now that's just the
Almost
Overdrive.
50,000
Right, now then
ebooks.
the state came up with their own ebook, digital media lending program. It's called the Commonwealth eBook Collection, and it's gotten a lot better, and a lot of people are really enjoying it. And in total items available in that collection, there's 106,000
Wow.
items, and that's broken down into ebooks and audiobooks. And there are collections that are more geared towards schools, but that is another big option. And then,
And can that be downloaded by
oh
anybody?
yeah, it's all the same. You download
Just
an
like
app.
you do Overdrive.
Well, you can download the Overdrive app. For this one, you download the Access 360 app.
Oh,
Depending on your device, there's different ways you can do it. You can do it on your laptop.
can you do it on iPads?
Oh yeah, and we come up, and someone else. All the different libraries have contributed to these brochures, and Lindsay has reprinted them in nice colors.
Yeah.
And they're available out here at the desk, and they're for any device: Kindle, iPad, Androids. Here's the Access 360 app, which goes with the Massachusetts
Oh, I
program.
should get one of those. I use it a lot.
And this is a little flyer that we have out that tells people about them. So twice a month, Lindsay and I do a digital discussions drop-in program where people come and they, at certain times, we advertise it, and we'll help them with whatever device they have. Typically, it's about ebooks or downloading e-audiobooks, but sometimes they want to know how to, sign up for Facebook or, how to get started with their new device. But 90% of the time, it's how to get started using ebooks. And then people come to the desk all the time with their device, and we help people all the time. It's very popular. But there's one other option. I know, I should have told you.
That's good. No, this is great. I love it. I love it.
That people Massachusetts residents have the ability to get an e-card, an e-library card from the Boston Public Library. You get it through email. Once you get that, you can then go into the Boston Public Library Overdrive catalog, which is probably 3 times as big as ours. So you have lots of options. So sometimes the second book of a series might be checked out in our Overdrive catalog.
Yeah.
You can go to Boston Public Library.
That's the
and get it
frustrating
there.
part.
what a great,
Wow.
There's
Yeah,
just,
I think,
there a
I think you
brochure
should
about
turn to the
that one?
camera to
oh,
say this.
to do a little,
Oh, there,
a
yes.
little
Is there a
spiel.
brochure about that?
I don't have one with me tonight, but we do have informational,
On how to do that? I'd
things.
like to do that.
It's so easy, and I tell
well,
people that.
I'm
and
I'm gonna translate a little bit because I'm a civilian here. But I know how popular ebooks are and how popular they've become. I also know that it's not our intention that ebooks necessarily ever will totally replace real books
Oh, no,
as we know it.
not at all.
And I think I've heard you say that it's not either or, it's both. And that's, I think, I agree with that. That's, I think, the future of libraries. But the most important thing is not only can you give our patrons, the folks who live here in East Long Meadow and others, not only can you give them access to ebooks under many different platforms, but you also, you and Lindsay and others, have available coaching for people who may be civilians like myself, people who may be new to this world, or as I've said in the past, if you're thinking of getting a device, a tablet or whatever for Christmas, don't forget we have a tremendous resource right here.
Well,
Come and see Sharon and her friends,
It
and
could be a
uh,
Christmas present.
people do.
she'll take good care of you, and you'll never regret it.
Thank you.
Sharon, thank you. That's wonderful, and
Yeah.
it's good to know that we're once again ahead of the Wall Street Journal.
Once again.
This wasn't
Stop
news.
buying
This
ebooks.
wasn't news to you. Yeah, stop buying ebooks.
Or books,
We can
you get-
help you.
Or
We can help you
magazines.
save
Or
money.
magazines.
Or
I
magazines.
want to
Yeah,
thank the
amazing.
library for helping me present a little talk that Charlie was there for on the topic
Great talk.
of heroes and myths. Gave downtown, and Charlie listened and politely clapped.
Uh-huh.
And,
You
that
got
was
one
the-
clap?
But I had videos and all the different machinery, and it was very helpful.
Good.
The other point I wanted to make, I assume that discussion is complete, is I heard very clearly that Ms. Menard thinks of this, quite rightly, as an advisory council. Now, we are still under the regulations and the like that suggest a monthly meeting and a variety of things to discuss and required open meetings and the like. Now, I think the rules for advisory committees are quite a bit different. Should we start looking into changing the relationship of this committee to its legal responsibilities?
How different are the rules?
Well, that's, this is the question. I don't know. I haven't looked
And
into it, but,
Where would we find that?
well, we get the help that we've sought out in the past and look further to find out the definitions of the different committees and where we fit into, to put it a different way, our function right now seems to be, and will be in the future, different from our public responsibilities, and there's a disjunction. And I think we need to identify ourselves as what we're really doing, rather than what we had been doing in the past, since that's changed very fundamentally.
Well, Art, you met with a very loud silence.
I heard
You hear the loud silence.
I heard it all.
I think that's a good idea. That's very forward thinking. Actually, two things come to mind, and this is the first time I've really started to order my thoughts. But the town, with the new implementation of the new charter, has structurally already anticipated going through all of our existing, and I'm going to say this wrong, but don't hold me to it. I'm not an expert on what the town is going to do, but as I understand it, they're going to go through in an organized fashion with a committee. The committee may have already been appointed. I don't know, but maybe. They're going to go through and look at all of our bylaws and rules and regulations and look at the impact of the new charter, which has been voted and accepted, on those rules and regulations, and as those rules and regulations are impacted by the charter will obviously, certainly in my view, will obviously take precedence. And there are some boards, commissions, committees. We're a board of trustees. There are some entities like that that have existed in this town for years and have done things a certain way. That's the first thing. So that's going to be ongoing, and I think we should participate in that to the extent that we are asked to be involved, and to the extent that we know things that we, as you suggest, know are going to change. The specific things that have changed already is that we, as a board, are no longer responsible for day-to-day management of the library. We are also no longer responsible for hiring and firing the library director. We have been asked to act in an advisory way for items as they affect both of those two principal items, which we're willing to do and which we're doing right now. We're in the process of doing that. Now, there may be other things where we would function in the advisory way, but I would say at the very least, this board of trustees is going to never, I would not see it ever giving up the responsibility that we have to represent the town, the people of the town to the library, and the people of the library to the town. That's something I think is a natural thing for any trustees board, and I would favor that we start with that. And that, frankly, if we meet once a month to do just that, and support the library in the town and support the town to the library, I think that's a worthwhile effort. So that's my thought. Does anybody else have any thoughts? Those are my thoughts, I mean.
We'll have a chance to continue this line of thinking in the future. But what we don't want to do is come in, sit down, have nothing on the agenda.
Can't imagine that would happen, though. I mean,
Right.
I think that I've said it before, there's a lot that the trustees can do to help a director as an advisory role. I mean, there's a lot of things that are gonna come up. And then I
Okay.
would think any director would want
Especially
to-
as you go into long-range plans and
Yes.
planning,
Yeah,
and
that's
and
gonna,
I see us as
yeah.
more of an advisory role to
Mhm.
help the library progress into the future.
Right. That long-range plan, that strategic plan, that does involve the trustees,
Right.
reaching out to the community, it's a process. And I would think any
And there's
director-
always things that come up that need discussion
Exactly,
and careful thought.
I agree,
And here we are, careful thought.
careful. And years of experience and.
Yes, and I
I
think
think there's a lot of
Denise
value in
Menard
that.
said that
Mhm.
in as much, that she was happy with
Mhm.
the pool of talent on this board that
Mhm.
could help her.
Mhm.
And I think our main goal would be, to help the director,
Right,
and
right.
then as an adjunct to that, to help the town manager.
Mhm.
Okay, we can measure our effectiveness by her willingness to seek us out. So I think
Yeah.
assignments from her will probably be our leading gauge as to our worth. And we'll find out. I'm not saying take any action on this point
Yeah,
quickly,
you're just
but we need to
throwing it
know
out.
what the options are,
Mhm.
what other towns do,
it's
and
like
what Denise or whoever, if she
Or whoever, if she said,
whoever
she's,
wishes to use us.
it may not be her, so,
True.
Right,
But,
whoever.
well, it'd be.
no, but we need a role to play that's substantial enough to
Continue.
Oh, God, yeah.
spend time. Well, if our time is valuable.
I think it is. Well, wait a minute, what?
No, but 7 people for 2 hours a month does add up.
Okay.
or more, depending on the circumstances.
Mhm. Well,
It's something that needs to, they're measuring everything else,
mhm.
Mhm.
and so this needs to be measured too.
Okay.
Anybody disagree?
I think that's a good point, Art. I think that's forward-thinking, and we have to know exactly what our role is and how we can fulfill it.
Mhm.
Okay, let's try to do that. Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
Well, yeah, do you want to just set the next meeting?
Yeah.
Um, Okay,
Sure.
okay. You sure?
Oh, he's
I'm,
not quite sure.
I'm just teasing you.
yeah, I'm afraid to answer.
I know. So, would.
Is that the one that we started with? Could I take a look at that?
Yeah. Sure. I was gonna ask if we could do the 16th, or if you wanted to do the 23rd, we'd have to meet upstairs in the local history room.
I'm in favor of the 16th at this point.
It looks okay.
23rd, something, I have something.
Well, that's the day before
See,
Thanksgiving.
let's stay with the 16th.
That's
Before,
true.
the
It
Wednesday,
is-
no, I,
Let's stay with the 16th.
Yeah, yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah,
As far as I
I'd
know,
have a, ooh.
Not another golf tournament.
But
God help
no.
me. The champions dinner, yeah, I know.
You have that same thing? No, babysitting.
Oh,
But not at night. I think I'll be
You'll be
good.
tired, but, you'll be bloodied but unbowed.
are your kids old enough to caddy?
No, you wanna?
Your grandchildren?
You
All right,
wanna?
that's good. Thank you. Art, I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No, we're out. We're closed.